Hi, everyone. Here we are. I have a beautiful guest with me today, a very dear friend of mine. Most people know him as Dr. Amir or the Wizard of YssaH. And we are so excited to have this live show sharing with you all, beautiful Soul Tribe. We have also a very deep topic to talk about with you today, to share a little bit more about it, which is the rainbow body and the plasma body. I'm having a little bit of thing with my Facebook that doesn't allow me to share publicly while while being live. Yet I will be sharing to all of my media once we go offline.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, so welcome, Amir. How are
Oh,
you?
thank you. Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to be here with you, my wonderful friend. I'd like to extend my warmest greetings to our audience. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you. Thank you for being here. I look forward to an enjoyable and beneficial conversation. We're just having fun, two mystical beings sitting here like nothing's going on in the world. Everything is good. Let's dig into the amazing, delicious stuff about who we are and what this whole thing is about, the energetic structure and the plasma body and the rainbow body. What is all this? What do we speak of? So yeah, let's dive in.
Yes. So as we are diving in, just a small intro for the ones that are not aware of it, but Dr. Amir and I were together in the trip to Mexico, the Divine Awakening, and it was so powerful and so divine. Like we honor the title of the very same trip. So yeah, we have many adventures that we are recently integrating, and one of them was actually becoming aware of that point of communion in which each one of us are not only aware of the existence of the plasma body or the rainbow body, yet different ways to activate it, So this is what brought mainly, this idea of not only doing this show, yet about something that we will be sharing with you guys in a bit. But first, let's get into it. So now,
Well, uh, there's 8.5, close to 9 billion of us walking on the surface of the earth, going la di da di da, going around our busy days. Well, what do we have in common? I think the strongest thing we have in common are the human bodies, because otherwise, energetically, we're very different. But then, even going into the human bodies, we're very different. So, for example, a medicine that is going to work for somebody born in Europe won't necessarily work on somebody born in the west of Asia. So, the bodies are also completely different. Seems we are very, very diverse. So this whole thing about the energy structure, I came about it first not working on human beings, working on elementals. That's where my healing journey began. And so elemental beings seem to be the original inhabitants of the planet. Before physical life was possible, the planet was too warm and not enough oxygen and so on. So before life started in the ocean, we had mature elemental civilizations. And so it seems that the human being has inherited the energy structure from elementals. There's a one-to-one correspondence, at least the default setting. And the best way I can describe it is using this little coaster, which doesn't get used for coffee. I use it to describe the energetic structure of the human body. So the trunk would be from the head to the soles of the feet. Above, we've got the soul star. They're higher structures with more names. I just see them as branches connecting you to other shards of your soul and the divine. Then under the feet, we've got the Earth Star connecting you to the root network. Your root network fills the planet. So you're connected to the divine and you're connected to Mother Earth. Both are a source of prana or life force. And so a healthy energy structure, at least the default one, would be open without blockages, without injury, without trauma, without implants, and so on. Now, years later, having gone through roughly 1,000 one-to-one sessions, I've seen all sorts and shapes of energy structure in the wonderful people that I've had the pleasure and honor of working with. So one is the physical body. We're members of nature. We are one of the, let's say, animals primarily. And then we've got the human aspect of consciousness. And then we have higher consciousness. The human being, whether they're living a spiritual life or not, they have this energy structure. That seems something that is always present, animating the body. Furthest back that I've heard of it is old Atlantean knowledge inherited by the Egyptians, the whole notion of the Ba and the Ka. Ka being the, let's say, the soul shard, and the Ba being the identity or the wisdom of the body. Later down the line, many different paths after the Ice Age have discovered the same principle. The wisdom of India, the Vedic approach, which was then integrated into, let's say, theosophy. They also have this notion of the plasma body. And then there's the Buddhist approach, which gets a little bit more elaborate. I love these Buddhists. They're awesome. They seem to be on the money every time. So one of the really reliable paths is Buddhism. My own approach is Vajrayana Buddhism. It's a smaller sect focused on breaking or shedding the ego, releasing identity. And so that's one of the things that we're going to be touching upon later, this whole thing of shedding illusion and liberating yourself from identity towards the highest form of your energy structure. Now, it's appropriate now to talk about the chakras or the vortices inside the body, many important energy nodes, and then there are connecting paths or circuitry, the meridians connecting these nodes together. So this whole tree of life, again, reflected in the Kabbalah, in the Egyptian tree of life, in the Nordic tree of life, it seems to be kind of a good model. No model is perfect, but it does a good enough job. These chakras are not natural. They're overlays. They got to go. But you can't just yank them out. You might as well yank out your heart or your brain. So the process has to be gradual and intentional. That is possible. Next stage, these chakras turn into crystal. We've got the crystallization of the energy structure. Next stage, the crystals merge. You got one massive crystal. Next stage, the crystal melts, turns into liquid crystal. Next stage, rainbow body. Oh my goodness, the whole thing swirls around. It is fluid. It is indestructible. All the colors in the visual spectrum and more. And that seems to be a side effect of high levels of mastery. I'm not pointing at anyone in particular, but a certain young lady, that's what her energy structure looks like. And it blew my mind when I said, "Oh my God, you got the rainbow body. Teach me, Master. Kumbaya, kumbaya." Now guess what? She actually did. So that's one of the things we're going to be working on together, hopefully in a brand new approach, like super fast, very effective. You don't need to live in a cave for 30 years, I promise you.
Yes. Yeah.
That's important, but it
Yeah.
works. So that's coming up in the near future. I'm really excited about this.
I'm so excited as well. Thank you. Thank you, Amir. And thank you for saying that. I truly appreciate it, and mostly coming from you. And yeah, so it expanded my heart when you saw it. And I do like you covered, you touched on upon many topics. So addressing to as many as I can, let's say that when you're talking about the different civilizations, cultures, and then how in the beginning the elementals, were related to how the physical body would come into full manifestation, and therefore the gradients of the spectrum of light transferring to the multiple vessels that we embody. So the elementals, I loved how you expressed it, because how I see it is that's where we're heading to. Like every time that we see the Vitruvius man, and we see that, like you have the five elements, and then the quintessence being precisely ether, and that ether equals to Planck plasma. I'm sorry, I know it's not as catchy as if you say just plasma, yet it definitely is different. Planck plasma is the ultimate unit, because we have different levels of plasma. We have the plasma emitted by a dragon's mouth. We have the level of plasma coming from the solar flares. We have the different plasma that it's in our blood. So when we're talking about that unified field, the name that has been given to it so far is, and that is the most accurate one, as far as I'm concerned, is Planck plasma. And that Planck plasma equals to 0 point energy. So now, when Amir was talking about all these beautiful things, when Dr. Amir was talking about all these beautiful things, um, that the body goes like the chakras crystallized and they melt, and the full body merges, into this full spectrum of light, lotus flower, boom, you know we will get there, like in a very, like, just rushing the surface, because this topic is so deep, and we will have opportunity to share it together through what we are co-creating. Yet now, what is most coherent to mention about this 0 point field and that unified field is that if we're talking about elementals, and that's where we are heading to as a unified consciousness, then we are light. We're ultimately light. We are in the beginning light. So therefore, expanding beyond the limits of the matter is part of it. Becoming one with source is part of it. And also detaching from source and creating multiple forms is part of it. Becoming an orb, becoming this, I don't know if any of you, or you, Dr. Amir, have had the experience of seeing shining beings, illuminating beings, that their shape per se is not humanoid. For some of them is, yet they are light, so therefore they can embody any figure, any shape that they want, because bent lights, they're going beyond time and space as we know. They're going beyond that space-time continuum. They are shaping it. So then they can become orbs, they can become humanoids, they can become geometries and express through that to you in multiple forms. And we have that possibility. Actually, in some of the occasions, that's us coming from the future, giving to ourselves messages. Like, hey, this is where you're heading to. Remember, do your homework, you know? Come on, chop chop. Yalla, yalla. So so well, just mentioning that, and then I also wanted to say it's beautiful that you mentioned the crystallization of the chakras, as well as then turning into this liquid state, because that's what the water is heading to. Like our water, our molecular structure of water, how it is now currently in our body, won't be the same at all in the upcoming years. Why? Because we have now devices that are amplifying the level of hydrogen in our water, which creates another molecule, another through that chemistry, another component, which is instead of H2O is H3O2, which is hydronium. And that is the fourth state of water. It's a liquid crystalline. So it has the crystalline part and it has the liquid part. And when that happens, our level of interconnectivity to the quantum becomes highly coherent. So we're literally illuminating, because the elements in our body, like the microtubules, the mitochondria, are going at such a coherent pace that our blood starts to restore itself. Because, well, we will go there. I'm just going to brush it now. But when our molecular structure of water starts to behave in that way, even the microtubules and the very specific proteins that our mitochondria hold, or let's say our microtubules in our mitochondria hold, they start to activate chromosomes that were highly dormant, and therefore genes that were highly dormant, related to transcription of matters, which is precisely activating the RNA or the junk DNA. So, yeah. Uh, Thank you so much for saying that. You were mentioning before going live, I don't know, do you want to say anything about that?
No, that's spot on. I love the way you see the big picture, that elemental form is, in fact, where we're going. Uh, that is spot on. So that's the outcome of this whole rainbow body business. Allegedly, meaning you reach such a level of enlightenment where mastery over matter is included at the moment of transition, where the body is ready to die, to stop working. You ascend and you take the body with you. I like this machine, this old car. It served me well for 75 years, 80 years. I'm taking it with me. And so all that's left is hair, maybe nails, maybe your clothing. The rest goes. And there are those, allegedly, that have done this, like Master Rinpoche, Buddhist master. The path is Dzogchen, or also there's another tradition, the Bon tradition. These guys, they talk in riddles. It's hard to understand what the hell they're talking about, but it's all kind of like, it's all good, man. Don't stress. It's all good. It's all the way it should be. Well, believe it or not, when you go into those levels of ascension, connection to source, everything is good, man. Yeah, everything is the way it should be. You realize this whole stress is really the monkey brain torturing
Yes.
itself.
Yes.
So that's the level of attainment, becoming elemental. That means the body goes. Fourth and fifth dimensional. That's the ideal of many, many spiritual seekers. Now, at this level of evolution, the mighty human is ready. Oh my goodness, our ancestors had a harder time. We're ready to go. So a little bit of effort is needed, without a doubt. I mean, because we're overwhelmed by so much trauma and distortion and sabotage and incorrect belief systems. These are all anchors upon the energy. Heavy and dense emotions and thoughts, believing that you are small, believing in separation, not believing in yourself. These are all limitations that have to go. So that's part of the process. There are ways of getting around these very effectively. But the brilliant thing is, if you set your mind to it, really, you don't need a lifetime to achieve this. It turns out that a few months will do the trick, where everything changes. It's night and day. You completely break out of this fictitious reality system, the hologram that is the matrix. The matrix is a prison of the mind. Otherwise, there are no chains around our necks and feet and hands. You break out of this, you start seeing things differently. Your body works differently. What YssaH was talking about, the expression of dormant genes in the body, this absolutely happens. Every time you go through a great upgrade, the body does need a little time to catch up. So you go through ascension symptoms. Yeah, I always mess up the pronunciation of that word. Ascension symptoms. Yeah, I got it.
Perfectly, yeah.
And that's the brilliant thing. Now we're ready, really, beyond any shed of a doubt. Any system that is based on harming humanity or the enslavement of the masses, that's not going to last very much longer, because we are becoming immune. They're not going to relinquish power willingly out of the goodness of their heart. It just won't work on us anymore in that state. So that's something powerful to look forward to. So a lot of good stuff is happening. There are methods that are let's say, the distillation of all ancient stuff. This is really kind of not a scientific way of talking about such profound things. A distillation of ancient goodies. Let me make it even worse. That we've come across. And so during this pilgrimage to the sacred sites in Mexico, we did have the opportunity to kind of match what we're working with. And voila, this brilliant new modality has come into being. Combination of the Kujihiri elemental magic, let's say pranayama, and light codes, light language. So exciting stuff ahead in a theater
Yes.
near you very soon.
Yes, and now that you touched upon that topic, you know, there are this excites me so much. I mean, I get easily excited, but this one is a big one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The awareness of feeling passion for what we do is becoming more and more important, because this is not what I was going to say, but I'm just backing up on my excitement, on my level of excitement. So like passion right now is something fundamental. When we talk about love, of course, love has always been on the table. Yet passion, please, if you don't feel passion at this moment, ask, where is your passion at? This is super important, because even if you are now watching this show just because it is likely to help you to remember more things about you, who you are, what you came here for, but not truly feeling it, just doing it as a homework or something that is being required from you, then there is something off. So it's so important to ask yourself, if you don't feel passion right now in life, where is your passion at? Because that ingredient, and we also saw it throughout the trip, I call it the eternal flame, the eternal fire, like, well, let's say the eternal plasma, which is the fire of your passion, the flame of your heart, and the spark of illumination. Those three are fundamental. Why? Because it definitely um, influences the result. If you just do for doing, you won't achieve it. That's how our reality, or perhaps you will achieve it but won't sustain it. That is the huge key for sustainability, those three flames. That's why they are eternal, from my perception and how I experience it. So, having said this, when you were talking about also the trip and the codes and so forth and the rainbow, like right now, the plasma body, the rainbow body, is so important. We see it in the prophecies, the Hopi prophecies, the Australian native, like the native, indigenous native prophecies in Australia. We saw it about in South America, here in Mexico. We see it everywhere, with
Yeah.
Quetzalcoatl and so forth. Why? What is the huge code with the rainbow? If we see the rainbow is constructed by seven colors, the code seven, you know, and this is why this rainbow is being used in many forms, because they know their power, the power that it holds. So the rainbow having seven colors plus two, which is the black and white, which create that mastery, that vacuum, that wholeness, because white is the communion of them all, as much as black is, yet one representing the absence of them and the other one representing the high presence of them. So, but anyway, so the rainbow representing that wholeness, the full spectrum of light. And do you guys remember that Newton experiment of the light coming and projecting into a crystal? Dr. Pink Floyd's experiment of of the light coming to the crystal pyramid and then relocating itself and projecting that rainbow. Well, for me, that's a huge code showing, if we imagine that the crystal are, for instance, our eyes, or all of our crystalline structure, the magnetites that we have in our brain, the potential in our water, and so like the piezoelectric properties in our water and so molecules of water and so forth, then and cells and so forth. So then we have the pyramid, the crystal pyramid, our eyes, the information coming from within, from a non-evident source or an infinite source, and then projecting through our reality and relocating it, refracting it somewhere else, which could mean the capability of what we perceive is what we create. If we perceive wholeness, we create wholeness. We are creating that rainbow reality. We are creating that holy reality. And that can only happen, again, if that is coming from within and we relocate, we refract our perception, which is nothing is impermanent. Detachment, truly freedom, just flowing through the motion, that you know that you're already everything, and that all the information that is within you has the purpose of being transmitted to shed, to expand light, to expand and transmit that light. And we have the rainbow warriors. We have Quetzalcoatl with the Christ consciousness. We have um, the rainbow serpent. It's all talking about this energy, this rainbow energy within us, to be activated at many levels, from wholeness, which would be, like delivering that into our reality, shaping our reality in that way, and from within, what, before me saying that, what would you think would be required inwardly to attain that wholeness?
I thought you'd never ask. Okay. Mind blown. This is I'm speechless. How many different systems from all across the planet, across the ocean of time, they're talking about the same thing. Okay, let's go back to the rainbow, this wonderful rainbow. Their colors, we've got the visual spectrum, and yet between one to the next, there is no border. Divine creation is continuous and infinite. So you scale back and you look at the galaxy, you see infinity. You move forward into the scale of a molecule and an atom. There is continuous creation. Going now beyond the quantum level and subatomic particles, you zoom into those even further. You see a continuous reality. So when we see discrete points, doop, 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 and when they are separated, that's indication of a technological approach that is not capable of correctly sampling and modeling infinite reality. So these chakras are not natural. They're in fact similar to USB ports, which enable certain beings or conscious beings to plug into our energy structure, harvest, disconnect without killing the human. Okay, how to get rid of the damn things? It is a process of contemplation and exertion of free will. We start by reclaiming our membership in the animal kingdom. Our senses, our feelings, our emotions, the instincts, these are valid. Billions of years of wisdom lay within these bodies. We reclaim it. We emphasize that we see all there is truthfully and that we use all things available to us correctly. Okay, so many people talk about healing the inner child. Nobody talks about healing the inner animal. That is the foundation.
Very good.
Many people are so jumbled up in their mind, they don't hear, they don't see, they walk straight in front of a bus. So they're operating below animal consciousness. Next step is being human. Sensuality, creative arts, painting, music, sculpture, architecture. Animals don't have this any longer. And that is overcoming shortcomings and base nature. We just reclaim these wonderful things of the body. We honor them, but they don't rule us. Then going to the height of what it is to be human. What YssaH just beautifully said, we are the creators. People don't like this. We are creators. Oh, this is blasphemy. No, no, no. We are a shard of the beloved source of all things. We are the beloved source in one shard. So we create. So shedding victim mentality, coming out of victimhood. Oh my God, people blame the country of birth, their parents, the religion, government, God, everyone and everything, but themselves. At one scale or point or another, we've had a hand in bringing about the conditions we see. Although they might be undesirable, we acknowledge we can fix them. So then going up to the level of the heart, which is all about consciousness, love or unconditional love, that kind of thing is the end link of a very, very long chain. Consciousness includes the consciousness of every cell in your body, every organ, every other human, every mountain, every tree, every galaxy. Healing the heart opens up the doors to understanding soul language, light language, the language of the cosmos. And so then there is discernment, that element of truth. We must reclaim this. The discernment or the throat chakra, that's your bullshit meter. Yes or no, true or no, left or right, yet that's built within. Then comes this awful limitation that is identity. That has to go. That's one of the more difficult ones. Ego death. Any kind of spiritual practice, doesn't matter where it comes from or who's doing it, has this ego death. Meaning, if I believe that I'm a small human, I'm a male, certain age, certain race, certain financial status, certain level of education, and so on, these are all boundaries getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm in a little box. And then there's just myself and two other dudes on Earth that tick all the same boxes. Here we're saying, oh, no, no, no. Boom. No more prison. There is no me. There is no here. There is no now. I'm everyone. I'm everything. That's really important because the monkey brain protects your identity. If you believe you're a small little monkey in a little cage, and then you get this profound wisdom from the soul, the brain goes to war. No, 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 no. That can't be true. You've imagined it. Don't tell anyone. And you know what? You forget about it too. So, this ego thing, once it opens up, you gain access to the wisdom of all soul shards that come from the same infinite soul. The Akashic records, divine library of life, other libraries that you're a member of, and so on. Then comes the good stuff, the manifesty stuff, yeah, the third eye. You manifest what you feel. Where does the feeling come from? Just from the senses and your body and the instincts? No, we've mastered them. They're part of it. Consciousness of the heart, access to the wisdom of the infinite soul, the gentle whispers of your soul, also called intuition. They all come in unified harmonics of consciousness. Isha and I are both fans of this phrase, unified consciousness harmonics. Your divine aspect is giving you info, your body is giving you info, all creates a big picture, and that is the reality you feel within, and that is what you manifest. And then there's the really good woo woo, the crown. Yisha talked about the black and the white. Let's go to the wonderful, wonderful wisdom of China, the I Ching, the yin and the yang, the active and the passive, masculine, feminine, black and white. So we acknowledge we're this pole, we're pure white and lovey-dovey and rainbows and unicorns, and we are the void, the black dragon, that which recycles manifestation so it can go back to source and have a new chance at emergence. We're this and we're this and we're everything in between. And guess what? That's stage one. Then stage two. Oh, goody good. Let's go to the elemental magic. Oh, that is awesome. Well, what are these elements of which you speak of? Well, little grasshopper. This universe is built upon duality, that yin and yang, active and passive. Elements are trigrams. So 1, 2, 3, each has two possibilities. 2 times 2 times 2 makes 8. So we start with 8 elements. Coming down into dimension 5 and 4, 3 of them are too high vibing. They say, oh, bye, we're not going down there. So we're left with 5 elements. These 5 elements combine to create atoms, molecules, strings of energy, and so on. So then the next level is understanding these substances, the elements, which Yisha beautifully calls the plasma. There's a word before it. There's a qualifier to the plasma? It's a special kind of plasma.
The Planck plasma.
Planck plasma. There we go. Okay, awesome. So the Planck plasma. And then from there, you do reach a state where you are very, very, very close to the beloved source of all things. You're aware that you are separated, that there is this thin veil of illusion of separation, but you are fluid. You are fluid, and that is a beautiful place to be. The methodologies that we are going to be combining will get you there real fast. But if you're expecting somebody to carry you up the mountain, no, you got to do some work. Anybody promising you this over a weekend, please don't believe them. It's not possible. You have to do some work on yourself. So that's my spiel. How to do it. I just went on for a little while, but
No, that was
passion. You can see this. I'm excited. I'm enjoying this conversation.
yes, likewise. No, that was very rich in content. So thank you so much. As rich as wholeness itself. So, so while you were talking this image, because one of the things that I talk about is like all the information was given to us just on 1/4. We have to complete the other 3/4 to actually create the full spectrum. So when we're talking about whether if it's your geometrical body or the source code or the chakras, or I have tuned into very interesting formations that or structures that they create of themselves in order to survive when a human or a human is not, aligned. So then you will have one chakra that is trying to compensate the extra polarization, and then creating like these very weird combos instead of a flower that starts to spin, 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 spin so rapidly. Yeah, like when I hear one of
One eye here, one eye here. Yeah, it's all wonky.
so that then starts to spin so fast all the way that crystallization is part of the high. I don't know if you or the beautiful tribe watching us has ever listened of the time crystals. And the time crystals are actually so coherent. They are superconductors because they are flowing so fast. They're thus coherent that they enable the pass of the transmission of other components of light through them. So that's what happens. They become so coherent because even as well, even though we feel that this reality is going super fast because there are so many things to do and you have to do this and you have to do that and that, and you see people running here and there, some of them, most of them automatized, some of them no, yet having a lot of things to do, to take care of. The reality is going the other way, like the simulation is going super slow because even the frequency, in order to create this level of density, needs to go very slow. And this is why us, to compensate how slow this simulation matrix is going at, then it's like we are the mice, like running fastly, 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 so that this reality doesn't collapse. This is why also one of the biggest teachings delivered by the monks, how I perceive it, is they are what could be seen in contemplation mode all the time. Even reality is collapsing and fireballs. Of course, I'm being very dramatic with this example, but earthquakes, tsunamis, and then you have the monk, in lotus flower position and in full peace within. This is, although it's a very good example to say how we can actually achieve that 0 point field within, that plasma, that Planck plasma field interconnectivity to the space, that oneness, that wholeness, that unified consciousness. And it's not that the space outside it's at rest or you are at rest, because even if we are like this, our mitochondria are generating cosmic amounts of energy every nanosecond. It's more about creating or opening the space for us to deliver high coherence where we are the axis and not the poles that are, you know, doing and undoing around, so that a reality is created. And even you can be running, but yet creating high coherence within. And that is something that, when you're also saying beautifully that we don't need to stay for 3 months meditating in or years, in a cave, that is so true, because I believe that's also that something that has evolved, at least in the ones that chose to be in this part of the reality, let's say in the crazy part,
Mm.
where we are capable to generate that cave within, even if we are exposed to many things in our reality. And that's another level of mastery.
Absolutely, beautifully said. It seems there's something different about this batch of humanity. I say batch because it seems we've been run through thousands of sequences of experimentation and extinction. And so this last batch, uh, somebody likes the grasshopper bit. Okay, I love you too.
Yeah.
Uh, let's say post Ice Age. So we're different from the old Egyptian kingdom. Before that, the Atlanteans, going back before that, civilizations in South America, parallel to the Lemurians, so mature and ancient, very beautiful. There's something about this version of humanity that is completely different. And it turns out this is the conclusion of the experiment that is humanity. We're really mature. And so, certain things that would take enormous effort for the generations, say, living in ancient Egypt, now for us, it is very, very accessible. And it doesn't take a lifetime to do it either. I mean, again, going back to the pilgrimage in Mexico, these sacred sites, this was unique. The amount of work we did on these structures, the amount of work that was done on us, this is mind blowing. This wouldn't be possible, let's say, 15,000 years ago. Saying that the same structures would exist and a bunch of people go la di da di da, all happy and yeah, singing the song of cheesecake on the bus, being all jolly, they wouldn't do what we did. There's something about this version of humanity that is ready. That is the message of joy. It's graduation time. Our species is ready to graduate and evolve to these higher planes. It's not something illusory. It's not mumbo jumbo. It's not woo woo. And it starts yielding results really, really fast in an undeniable way. I see this with people every day. They come in, oh no, I can't sleep. I'm having this and this energy. I'm blocked. And within the first 15 minutes of them co creating on their healing, and they just need little pieces of information, correct information that is pointing them in the right direction, and they're good to go. So I really sincerely hope that this project that we are embarking upon will have this result. Because honestly, ladies and gentlemen, between you and I, over the past 30 years, I've done every form of spirituality and magic that you can imagine. I thought I had the answer, and then I'm pointing at someone in particular, not at someone in particular. And this lady shows up and goes, oh, yes, by the way, do this and this and this. And I combine it, and boom, I achieved the rainbow body, although temporarily, because I like it down here. I like Earth. I don't want to be up there with these angels and Arcturians. They're boring. I like humans. But that's up to you if you want to stay down here or go upstairs, party with the ascended masters or not. But yes, this is an amazing time to be alive. And I'm just looking forward to this project so much.
Oh, me too. Me too. And the more that we go into every topic, the more that I get excited and I see where it can be unfolding and will be unfolding for sure.
Yes. Oh,
So
absolutely.
yes, you were mentioning about all the activations and hard work, but not hard work as really tough, like pretty unbearable. No, we were all the time celebrating life in a very high frequency while doing the toughest, the hardcore things parallelly. So I do believe that that requires not like a high level of mastery, whether if it's acknowledged or not by the ones that were delivering it, and that can only be sustained by a highly opened heart, as we had and have. I hope for everyone that was there, like not just like to be now that continuous status, as a way of being, as the way of being, for sure. Yet, so when it comes to the plasma body and now all these activations that Dr. Amir was mentioning, um, why would they be so important? Because I also feel that a lot of people is having more and more curiosity about grid work, and how to do that. And there are also many people that are already doing that. Now, what would be the implications of actually having your rainbow body activated and doing this kind of grid work? And this is amazing. So I'm just going to jump on this one first, and then we'll love to listen to your answer. And the thing is that is if we're talking about a unified consciousness, if we're talking about high coherence, it's not about all the time being like throwing rose petals to everyone and kissing everyone and singing la 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 all the time. It's just about that state in which you feel complete, and that is knowing the knowingness that you will continue evolving, because this can also be very tricky. Okay, I feel complete, then I'm none. What you were saying, like I stay there partying with the ascended masters, which is very different from this type of parties. So, but then again, it's, yes, I'm complete at this moment, yet that's not permanent. I'm going to continue evolving into different types of completion. And for me, one of the biggest keys to achieve that rainbow body, if we translate it also at a quantum level, would be, in earthly terms, detachment, and in quantum terms, delocalizing, which happens when there is quantum entanglement. You have a proton is communicating with a proton, like a proton in your feet, and it's communicating with a proton in your head. And that proton is communicating to the head chief of the galactic community. And that head chief is back and forward with your feet and with other beings. So all that interconnectivity is possible to exist because that proton is not fixated in a very specific network. Or let's say married, to a very specific group. They are sharing one another and going back and forward in the universe. I'm not talking about polygamy. I'm just talking about, let's say, friendship or whatever, however you want to call it. They're traveling back and forward. They are projecting their consciousnesses. So, yes, the proton that resides here within you at a quantum level, you can access to transfer your consciousness all the way to the protons that are suspended and quantum entangled to the whole cosmos. You can ask where, or even you can choose where. Because guess what? In one of the spatiotemporal constants or timelines within this infinite field of probabilities, that reality exists. So be sure about that. If it comes to your mind, it's because it exists in a parallel universe. If we go through the superposition theory of collapsed universes, that's happening. So just ask and connect, transfer your consciousness. That's also how telepathy communicates, and we are good at it, right? So, now connecting it to the grid work, when you start communicating with the land, then you know that if you're leaving an offering, it's not just about leaving a seed. It's leaving a seed that now holds the codes of your DNA if you put a little bit of saliva on it, and that then you have anchored your transmission to that not only portion of land, yet to the whole land, because then holographically that spit is expanding throughout all that place and you can access. Perhaps you don't even need to give an offering. Perhaps you can just touch a rock and tuning to the field, start outloading all the information. That's also a possibility, as Dr. Amir was saying. Everyone has a unique form of connecting, yet there are fundamentals in the universe, like how it works through the holographic field at a quantum level, at a macrocosmic level, at a spiritual level, like multidimensional and so forth, that when we open up to use this type of formulas that apply to everything, then like, hey, perhaps I don't need to go to someplace physically. Perhaps I see a picture and just tune into the field and start projecting by command my consciousness to that place. Perhaps you're more of a physical person. Perhaps you need to touch. Okay, so then perhaps if you cannot go physically, you can touch the screen or you can touch the photo. And our mind is so powerful that seriously, if we're saying that all of this is a hologram, then that picture is a fractal of that physicality. So now, how to truly believe it? So I don't know if you remember what the first question was, but there is another one. What would you say?
I'm just flowing. I'm just enjoying this. Yeah. Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Okay, so well, but let's say, what would you think, or what would you say to the audience, to the beautiful tribe, that would be a way to not only stay in the imagination, yet start expanding it into a higher level, like for instance how you would do an energetic surgery. You're not just imagining it, you are energetically delivering the purpose and achieving it.
Okay, so all of what you said, yes. And so that was said beautifully. The whole purpose of um, moving towards something like the rainbow body, but also other higher states of consciousness, is to achieve freedom and sovereignty, meaning that you are not bound to anything, you are not restricted in any prison in any shape or form, that you hold your own true essence, that nothing is influencing and distorting you, your perception, your manifestation, your feelings, and that you are a superconductor, perfectly aligned, perfectly coherent, and optimized to channel maximum divine light. So we want to regain our position as source. That's where we're coming from. And so we're down here in these bodies, in these human bodies, in this crazy dumpster fire that has become Earth, playing this game of dumbass, rolling in the mud with our eyes closed and our arms and legs tied, rolling around. Yeah, right. We want to undo that. It's sometimes maybe a mud fight like this that we have down here on Earth is enjoyable, but that's really temporary. You get tired pretty soon, and then you want to go home and have a warm shower and relax on your sofa or something soft. This is the whole thing. We want to go back home. So it's important to know where home is. That's built into you. It's important to know that all these conditions that we see are chosen by us. Nobody forces anything upon you. We agree to certain experiences to gain the wisdom that we have come here for and to go back home. The closer we are to source, more of our infinite abilities come online, including what we can do here in physical reality. So, liberation, sovereignty, and connection to source. You need to find a method that works, even though it might be just a tiny drop, but you know it works, meaning that it is actually cleaning you and freeing you and moving you towards your true home. And then you do it 10 million times. That's the Vajrayana approach. It's the path of maximum effort. Of yes, you do it. The system is 105,000 mantras. You can't do well. I say you can't do it fast. I did it in 13 days last time round. My finger was hurting with moving all the mala beads, repetitive strain, but it can be achieved really quickly. You don't need to go through torture and torment. You don't need to starve yourself. Goodness knows, Buddha tried that. It didn't work out really well. You don't need to be crucified. You don't need to be burned at the stake. Living in moderation, but it's all about clean and true information, and then doing the minimal amount of work to break out of the illusion. So, long answer short, it is about freedom, it is about purity, and it is about connection to source.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you. That's beautiful. And it took me to the thing that you mentioned about the ego, like going beyond those ideas delivered by that, let's say, matrix that was created. I call it the ego matrix, because how I see it is, if we go through, you also mentioned the tree of life and the different cultures, which is beautiful. I agree, is one of the fundamental patterns that constructs holographically the human vessel. If you want to access to see which coordinates to activate or deactivate in order to create the full spectrum, that's one of the major blueprints to do so. And for instance, uh, when you have this, let's say, the tree of life, and the one in the Kabbalah, not all the spheres are included, and there are 10 spheres. So I was tuning into, like the one that is sometimes missing is the one here, actually, at this level, which is the heart. And then I said, wow, like we have neurons in the heart.
Yeah.
If this is absent sometimes, then it's kind of amnesiac.
Yeah.
So it's also about igniting the neurons here, make them remember, because the memory here hasn't been touched in comparison to this one as much, at least. The memories here are highly connected with the high heart, which is the thymus, and the thymus being that bridge in between our pineal gland and the pineal gland in our heart. So then what about the ego? The sephira, the sixth sephira are related to beauty. And I don't know if you watch the movie of the Devil's Attorney. I think that's the translation in English.
Mhm.
And that the last phrase that he says, vanity is my favorite thing. And and vanity is very much connected to the limited perception of beauty with the limited perception of harmony. Because for me, essentially, what beauty is harmony. If there is something that is creating harmony, you will say, oh, that's so beautiful. And you can go even beyond the standards of a society, like the really limited standards of beauty in a society. But as long as you tune into something that is emanating harmony, you will say, oh, that's beautiful. Even if you are literally in a garbage disposal and you see, let's say, a white cat and a bird flowing, like flying all the way into its nose, the tip of its nose, you will say, wow, that is depending, but at least beautiful, you will say.
Yeah.
I mean, perhaps there might be, because everything also possible, someone that says, oh, that's so inconvenient. What a poor, beautiful cat is doing it with a beautiful bird in that shitty place. I don't know. But the thing is that at least the beautiful part comes through.
Yes.
Because then that harmony creates and resonates within our mirror neurons here. And here, beyond the pyramidal neurons here, there are also mirror neurons that haven't, people doesn't talk about that, because barely no one knows. But we also have mirror neurons here. How do we get to feel empathy? It's not only through
Mhm.
this mirror, it's through here.
Correct.
And now, then, I'm sorry because I deviate from the. Okay,
Oh
so
no, don't stop.
here,
Please continue. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep going. We're and oh, let me jump in.
sure.
Here. Oh yes, your gut. Mirror neurons. Oh wow. Boom chakalaka. Who would have
Yes,
imagined, huh? Yeah.
yes, yes. And like when we're, thank you for mentioning that, because then again, if we say beauty here, here there is this wormhole connecting to the cube of incubation. In Mayan, Kaba, or like what Kaba means, or actually more in Kaba, which in Arabic is very much related to the cube, as we know, in Mayan means my name is, which is a high level of tag, you know, the tag that you acquire in this reality. It's very important on one aspect because it's how you acknowledge yourself in front of the universe, how you recognize yourself. And on the other aspect, if you're not aware of it, it's what actually can trap you into a limited frame of what you are, just marrying with one, or just let's say more than marrying, it's just tuning into one aspect, whether you can engage to the full spectrum of it, where you can actually commit to be that authentic version of yourself. So, having said this, if this is empty, what can possibly be fed here if there is a wormhole interconnecting to that simulation matrix? Not the information of your mom anymore. You don't have the umbilical cord, which is also a wormhole. Now you have all that information being funneled from the matrix. And from here, as there is no remembrance, then how can you blame this? Where that ego matrix mainly resides. So when you start clearing here, then you start to funnel the information all the way here. And then you will see that the gut brain starts to feel the intuition without fear, only if it's a sustainable one due to survival. Then here and here, but then again, even survival, because we know that doesn't exist. If not, ask Osiris, he knows well. But yeah, that's what I wanted to mention about the ego. And yeah.
Uh, you're by the way, you're doing this in um, a multi-dimensional way. There's the words, and then there's the energy. I'm finding it a little difficult to stick in the body. You want to go up, yeah. The way you're delivering this is beautiful. I've never heard a better description of what is wrong with the Kabbalistic tree of life, because there are missing Sephiroth, important ones. And so it's basically, it's one of those things that we need to overcome. You see, again, going back to owning our reality, taking responsibility, and shedding a victim mentality. Who cares who did it? We forgive them in love and thank them for the lessons, but it's our responsibility to do something about it.
Okay.
And so we're doing this with compassion, with awareness, and with joy, reigniting the love and repairing the energy structure of the body. I like how this is going full circle. That
Yes.
plasma body or energetic structure towards greater forms of coherence, unified consciousness, and unrestricted flow of divine wisdom and light. That's where we want to go. And while we're doing this, amazing things start happening. Magic starts happening. That is magic, by the way. There is no woo woo about this. That's the whole process of manifestation, its connection to source. And so that is the healthy and correct way of doing things. Somebody says cheesecake. I love you. Yes, there is no such thing as too much cheesecake. We have to add this. Cheesecake is the symbol of spiritual attainment, and so therefore there is no such thing as too much of it.
Yes.
So this is a thank you, Ceci. Uh,
Yes, I agree, and it's beautifully said. You know, um, I think that I don't. Well, I know, but I would love for you to share it with the beautiful tribe. Um, Simplicity. Like we can go through all these complex terms and with the vast information that there is, and yet when we do transmit it organically, it flows in a simplistic way
yeah,
that it's digestible as cheesecake.
yeah,
It's digestible.
oh, you
Yeah,
had me at cheesecake.
yeah.
That is true. That is true. Um, you see, the infinite cosmos cannot fit in a cup. So we're left with models. Models are approximations of reality. Some models are really good, so they get the job done. Some are pretty bad models. So something that by very definition is complex, the teacher or the master talks in riddles. God damn it, man. Speak straight. What do you mean? So if it's not accessible, it is useless. And then there's the other types of information. People love this stuff and they think it's the real cheesecake, but no, it's a knockoff. Let's say you know the entire roadmap of Kenya by heart. You know the name of all the intersections. You're the living map of the road structure of Kenya, and you're never going to travel there. And you don't have a driver's license. What's the use of this? And you see lots of people talking about, oh, yes, this is the mechanism of inversion that the Anunnaki have used. Oh, that's really pretty, but it's neither here nor there. It's useless. So, simplicity and the information being purposeful. What is it that is missing, and what do we need in order to regain perfect functionality? Absolutely is simple. The roadmap, you see, there's a way of eating that you do this, right? And then there's a correct way of doing it. And then somebody may stand on one hand and do this, right? So that's also another approach. Maybe all of them work, but you want it to be straightforward. So I completely agree with you. It has to be accessible, it has to be unambiguous, no interpretation. This is what it is. So if I say my mind sees all there is truthfully, this is easy. My mind sees all there is truthfully. And then you repeat this over and over and over. You know what it does? It cleans out the root chakra. All sorts of theft of Kundalini energy, energy harvesting, parasitic entities, demonic beings. Guess what? You're getting rid of them. My mind sees all there is truthfully. Okay, that's nice and easy. So that's a system that will survive the test of time. And you know what? It works. There's no two ways about it. Another thing is, I'm really a big fan of independence. So, calling to other beings, why? These guys are loan sharks. You knock on their door and they give you $1,000. 2 weeks later, they show up with a group of thugs, big bodybuilders, and they want $5,000 back, and you're stuck. Doesn't matter if it's an angel or a demon, all same. So it has to be in a way that it is just you, between you and the beloved source of all things. So it has to be clean, it has to be simple, spot on. Those are signs of a good approach.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Every time that people ask me if I channel an energy, I always like to say that as a unified consciousness, that information, that extension is that's code, that being is an extension of myself, you know? And I
Yes.
think this is so important so- because sometimes people
Yes.
think that it's being humble to say that it's not you. But there is for me a very thin line, yet very deep one, that if you don't consider everything as an extension of yourself, then you cannot fully become responsible. And someone who's not responsible, how can be sovereign? And again, it's not about gaining guilt that you're not meant to, yet it's about the magic, the alchemy of knowing that once you acknowledge something as part of your universe, you can do something about it. If you don't acknowledge something as part of your universe, you can't do anything about it because you're just, like cleaning your hands. But even
Yes.
if
Yes.
you know that, for instance, there is a force and energy that is in your field that is not yours directly, the moment that it becomes into your field, that it comes into your field, now it's like, okay, now I'm in the full righteousness to address it however I choose to, and this is super important. I
Yep.
feel that sovereignty is not only about expressing your truth, and that is also very, it's not about a trend. It's like, what is truly your truth? Where are you
Yep.
speaking from? How vastly do you know yourself? And do you truly know, again, where those words that you're expressing are coming from? You know, and even if we say everything is ultimately you, or an extension of yourself, if you're not aware of the different, and again, it's not like you need to be super aware of all the multidimensional versions of yourself and who you were and who you are, who you will be. And no, it's just keeping it simple in that, okay, so once it's in my universe, I can address it. So yes, you have entered my field, or you have tried, or this came out of me. Okay, so then I will address responsibly to this. And then, we can create something else from this. There is one question from Aaron Marlowe, beautiful being, beautiful being. Um, I have had the honor to work with him. He's saying, Dr. Amir and Isha, can you speak more on the technical prerequisites, the things that need to happen before the first stage of chakra crystallization occurs? In your experience, what might a person go through and or experience in this process, especially related to changes in their perception?
Wow, what a beautiful question. Well, thank you so much, Aaron. Yeah, Isha, is it okay if I go first?
Yeah, no, please go ahead.
Okay, so um, as soul shards, we incarnate We come uh, in different bodies, one after the other. Certain types of injury linger, certain types of trauma remain. So, a bad breakup 32 lifetimes ago may be still draining your energy. So, that's one thing. Then there may be other time streams, parallel realities, which are affecting you in a non beneficial way. There may be other dimensions where you have a presence which would be affecting you. And then coming down to this simple linear progression of time, you're connected to your ancestors from the father's side and mother's side. There may be genetic problems, or let's say generational curses that are affecting you. And then there's what you have accumulated in this lifetime. So let's say the sperm and the egg mix, we have the first cell, the system goes to work. By the time the fetal stage is complete and you are born, most of the implants are already in you. Then you got the, the trauma of birth, trauma of childhood, school, religion, finances. By the time you hit puberty, you're buried under a mountain of garbage. So that is what you are doing. First of all, heal the inside. So anything related to these wonky wheels called chakras, fix them. If there's something that is corded and is draining you have to get rid of it. If your energy is being harvested, you got to get rid of it. If there's any unhealed trauma that's bugging you, you need to get rid of it, right? So there are many approaches. Modern psychological approaches are good. Cognitive behavioral therapy is good. If the case is very extreme, even medication is really good, just to take the sharp edge off till you regain balance, the neurochemical balance in the body. So it's a holistic approach. Healthy body, healthy emotions, healthy mind, healthy nutrition, exercise, sleep, right? The body comes in. And then you start working on the energy system. Exertion of free will. What will happen during the process? Oh, stuff is going to come up. You better believe it. Shadows will come up, which will kick your butt. And when the dust settles, you'll look back and say, "Oh my God, I freaking needed this. Bring it on." You're going to get addicted to purging this nonsense, and pretty soon and sure, you're going to experience greater levels of flow of life force or chi or prana or divine light or the river of life. It's all one thing. It's just this flow of energy from your soul and from the divine going through the body and anchoring into the earth. That's what intuition is. Oh, guess what? You may have portal technology. You may be a pretty badass shaman, meaning you have access to the ocean of time. You can heal aliens and angels and demons and elementals, all that stuff. These soul technologies are energy hungry. You have to have a pretty strong connection to source. There are two flows of life, heaven to earth and earth to heaven. So guess what? The earth comes in. If you're cut off from the earth, you're kind of half 50% capacity. So once you have the horsepower, the oomph, the energy, then systems start coming online. And before you know it, you're remote viewing, you can see back in time, future in time, maybe moving stuff with your mind. I've seen all of this happen. This is real, by the way. And in terms of consciousness, it is expanded. Your presence is not local anymore. You're sitting having lunch, and suddenly a piece of information comes in that is telling you, okay, go outside and look up. You go outside and you look up and you see a fleet of UFOs flying, right? This is also real. So you're going to get greater towards the magnificent you. It's all here now. Get rid of the garbage, open up the path, and you're good to go.
That is a beautiful answer. Thank you so much. I don't know if there was something left for me to mention, but thank you so much. I hope that had answered your question, Aaron. For me, I would like if I don't think there is something else to add. I just would say that if we're talking, because you know that Aaron, that I love analogies as well. So if we're talking about crystallization, if we're talking about superconducting, anything that is blocking the flow of the energy within you, and again, that can go, or even the transmission of the information from here to here, so any emotions, any like biological dysfunction or malfunction. Um, we know that the origin, like the last scale to be manifested in this case would be a mesoscale, in the biology, but yet it's not the core. So something that I have interestingly found is that the answer most of the time resides where you would expect the least. You know, sometimes your mind tells you, yeah, the logic, because we have studied, we have remembered, we have, so okay, so if 1 plus 1 equals 2, so then it's 2. And then someone like my daughter will come and tell you, no, 1 plus 1 equals 11. And then you'll say, oh, wow, like, Pam, now I see where you're coming from. And the thing is that truly, there are, when it comes to revealing those aspects of ourselves, reading in just one way is it's not feasible for me. One day you will require more of that cognitive thinking to read what you're going through. One day you will require to go more at a multidimensional level to see what you require from. I think that the key is knowing thyself. Knowing thyself, just immediately tuning into, okay, what I need more, like what is feeling off. Okay, so the physical body is really feeling off. I know it's not its origin, but it's the one like really feeling off, like really don't even wanting to do anything, you know? So then you address to your physical body, and then later on you can check on the origin, you know? If it's more just about something merely mental, okay, for me, what I normally do is detach, Okay, so I know that it is being generated within me, yet I'm not falling for it because that's not me. I don't usually think that way. So I'm not falling for it. Okay, so then you start tracking where and detaching really from everything. For me, it happens very interestingly. When it comes to the body, I fully need to go like fully immerse into it. For me, my body doesn't flow detaching. If I try to correct it and then, like trying to do something that gets me out of that state, it won't work. I will go immediately to, okay, I don't feel well. Okay. But if I face it and I say, okay, so what are you feeling? Okay, so let's go deep into it. If it's pain, let's go deep into the pain, all the way so deep that then it dissolves. It doesn't exist anymore. There is no pain. And then this huge illumination comes from because it shows you that the true core. If it's more about cognitive, it's like, okay, come on, I'm not falling for this. I don't believe it. But then again, once that clears out, then you're capable to be that crystal clear transmission of light. And that also is a superconductor of that light, that very same light that you are. Um, Also, practice a lot with your energetic body. Practice a lot with your energetic body. Don't underestimate it. Don't underestimate yourself. That, oh, yeah, this is just my imagination. I'm not really glowing. No, see it, like as you were saying, Dr. Amir, as you were saying, like if you command something, is because you hold the certainty that it is, so just be sure that however you communicate with your body, our body is so amazing and loving and truly sacred that it will listen to you. Your body is here it's here for you, it's here due to you. So it's that companion that is telling you, hey, I was waiting for this moment, for you to acknowledge me. Let's do this.
Yes.
And of course, it's a relationship. You start to need to know, okay, so what do you need? What didn't I do for you? And so forth. But once, it's interconnected, then it's going to be like the relationship of a lifetime for sure. So, yeah,
Beautiful.
like
Beautiful.
great.
Yes, could not say it any better. Beautiful. Think of the body like your car. If the red danger light comes on, deal with it, right? And if it says change gear now, change gear now. Listen to the body. Yeah, if it's telling you, hey, rest, take it easy, just take it easy. It's about awareness. With practice, your awareness gets cleaner and sharper. You understand the language of the body, and you understand the language of the soul, you get better at it. So keep working. That's the only way you get better with practice.
Yes, I agree. I agree. If you needed to create an analogy at a, let's say, at a quantum level of what practice is, not at a quantum level per se, but if you needed to give an analogy of what practice is, what would
So
it be?
um, uh, practice. Let's say you are. I think practice would probably not be the most accurate word to use. Let's look at it in a different way. You're going to build a temple or a pyramid. And so you're manufacturing every single one of the stone blocks with great precision. But then you're also making sure that the location of this building is going to be accurate. You don't want to build somewhere, finish the pyramid, and say, "Oh no, I've missed the ley line by 2.5 months." Then you're screwed. Yeah. So there's an awareness of the big picture. So certain models that have worked throughout history and that resonate with you are good. Then you focus on each individual block that goes into the temple. You make sure the foundation is solid. First floor is solid, next one is solid. So there's a meticulous process. It is about quality and it is about quantity. You can't just say 5 really good mantras and expect it to work. No, there's a minimum amount of investment that is required in order to charge this mantra or integrate the energy. So nothing in, nothing out. There's also another analogy: rubbish in, rubbish out. So you got to be aware of this. So, in short, my honored friend, my esteemed friend Isha, it's awareness. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? How are you doing it? These are important. These seem to work with the scientific method too. Understanding what it is that you're measuring, what it is you're evaluating. And so, to these spiritual practices, for our wonderful audience, please apply the spiritual method. Is it valid? Is it observable? Is it reliable? Is it repeatable? If you do it, does it work? If somebody else does it work? If it happens 500 years ago, does it happen now? Will it happen in 500 years? There's certain approaches that do satisfy the scientific method. So doing things correctly, not just willy-nilly. Now, we can course and yeah, just beating on your drum shall not ascend you, although doing it correctly in 15 minutes shall ascend you. It depends also on the quality. So you got to know where you're headed, what it is you're doing, why you're doing it. Right, going back again to the single word, awareness.
Oh,
I
thank you
seem
so
to be pulsing, yeah, going big and then coming back down and then going back big.
much. Well, that's the way, right? That's the way it goes. So, so yeah, thank you so much for giving that analogy to that huge word, which is awareness, because there's something when the word practice comes to, not for everyone, but I'm talking perhaps for the ones that are beginning their path. Every time that you talk about discipline or practice or something is like zing, like so putting it as something that is inherently, like we inherently are meant to generate awareness, you know automatized beings are we just wouldn't be watching this, just as simple as that. And it's because it's just merely resonance. I'm not saying it that they won't. I hope, because we all have the opportunity. That's why we're here for, you know yet um that that capability of harnessing something is because we have enough resonance for that. You have resonance for you evolving, and you will be constantly generating awareness. If you feel resonance for being the most evolved version of yourself, then you will be humbly and eagerly doing whatever it takes to be you, the true you. And I think that this is something that is being given, yet it's also has been forgotten. So, having said this, because I don't want to take much of your time. We will already be creating. I mean, I'm enjoying this, immensely. And just to remember, um, everyone, that Dr. Amir and I have very exciting news. We will be offering a very specific course regarding to this huge topic, a plasma body and the rainbow body. And so stay tuned. And yeah, stay tuned. Wait for it. It will be huge. And yeah, we will be updating you all with all the details on this online course. And in the meantime, I wanted to say that if we talk about amnesia, because that's also like a huge topic, I don't usually use the word learn until unless it just comes, like out of being used to it. Yet, for me, learning is a process that acknowledges something outside. Like you have a book, you're learning from it. When it comes to remembrance, you are acknowledging that information that you are reading in the book is already within you. You're just mirroring into it and therefore activating it through the mirror law and other type of process involved. So what I want to ask you, Dr. Amir, is if you could translate this amnesia to the rainbow body, how could the rainbow body help getting or transcending amnesia? How would you say it?
Well, it is the circle of life. It's a never-ending journey. From source, we separate. We come down into smaller and smaller and smaller shards. And finally, tiny, tiny amount of that energy comes incarnating into a body. And so there is a separation between these aspects. And so this amnesia serves a purpose, so that the experience is pure, that it is pristine. And so that experience will give us a certain amount of insight and wisdom. And these experiences are all that we keep from our infinite number of incarnations here on earth and elsewhere. And so that at a certain point, then this experience must circulate back to source, because all this creation is source self disclosing. Abracadabra, I speak and therefore it is. And
Yeah.
so this is the whole thing. We are this beloved source. We are all the same. Each shard from this ocean, drop from this ocean, going through different experiences and journeys. And so, one of the signs that you're doing it correctly is compassion. You come down and you cry a bunch, and then you look around and say, "Oh, look at this poor person. They're doing poorly. This is me, actually. Oh, no." And you try helping. So, compassion is willing to benefit another soul. And this also includes you. And so, what is the purpose of this amnesia? It is to guarantee the integrity of a certain experience. So, we come down into these bodies, we don't remember who we are, we don't have access to all our gifts. And so then we are bombarded with trauma, with hardship, with loss, with betrayal, with all sorts of things, just to see if we have the capacity to heal, if we can forgive and show compassion, if we can gain the wisdom and avoid a karmic pattern, there is value in this. Now, in this crazy world that is Earth, it is really turned up to 11, right? So the nature of the craziness is mwah. And so many souls come down here for the crazy, including master souls from other universes. So that's the purpose of forgetting. Because if you have all your gifts, then it's not going to be fun anymore. Again, remember, it's a game of dumbass. Yeah, your eyes are tied, your ears are blocked, your hands and feet are tied, and you're rolling around in the mud. And then, of course, along the way comes a little Draco reptilian. Oh, look at these dumbasses rolling in the mud. Ooh, look in their pockets. There's these codes. I'm going to take some. And so once you're up and the blindfold is off and the hands are open and you take a nice clean shower and put on your sharp costume, the game is over. So there's value in forgetting. Yeah, we have to. We want to. In fact, that's the fun. It's a game of dumbass after all, this incarnation in Earth. So again, all this wisdom goes back to source. So again, with this analogy, this wonderful, wonderful, beautiful model, so much wisdom in this. I love trees. So coming down, the light of the soul coming down through the body, anchoring in the earth, going back to the void and going back to source. And so this is also the model of the universe, how incarnation of consciousness and the evolution of consciousness occurs, the energetic structure of the body, how we have this morphogenic field, there's a circulation of energy. Look at the ecosystem. This all goes up, comes down, is recycled, goes back up. That's the purpose of forgetting. Now, in this game of dum dum, on this in this dumpster fire that is 3D Earth, if you manage to break through the matrix, break through all the distortion, and connect to source, oh boy, you've hit the jackpot. That is a badge of honor upon the infinite soul, and you get a little medal that says, "I survived Earth during the Dark Ages," and nobody can challenge you. They know you're tough.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. You're badass.
You're a
For
badass.
sure. Yeah, yeah,
You've
yeah,
been to Earth. You're a veteran.
yeah.
So if you remember, that's kind of not fun anymore. And so then achieving this rainbow body, that is you breaking free. Matrix, pa, bring it. What else have you got? Aliens? Oh, okay, bring it. Draco, Anunnaki, insectoids. Oh, come at me. Come at me.
Come, come. you know, uh, beautiful responses from the people. I I agree. Like there is this spectrum regarding to when it comes to amnesia, that trauma mainly, because let's say there are three ways in which, from my experience, with beautiful beings and accompanying them in their path of remembrance, I've become aware that there are three main ways in which amnesia is, which is whether if it's based on trauma, something really harsh happened, then you blocked that memory. The second one, when there is, let's say, like a biological dysfunction, let's say you're not creating enough tau in your microtubules, in your mitochondria, therefore you start to generate derivative conditions regarding to your process of memory. And the third one, which is because something was not encouraging enough, not in frequency uh, powerful enough to be anchored into your neural pathways. So regardless any of these three, Dr. Amir was saying something beautiful, which is the purpose of forgetting, you know. And I was just mentioning in my video yesterday, decoding an ancient book of Revelation, that everything has a purpose. In this universe, everything has a purpose. If we ask ourselves why, the why comes from the ego. Why this? Why that? If we ask ourselves what for, then we're going ahead, two steps ahead, already finding the purpose for something to happen. And then getting it, in other words, getting it, why, transcending the lesson, or so forth. And the thing about us um, not remembering who we were, why we are here for, there are very specific, let's say, generations, like the star seeds, whether if it's indigo generation, or rainbow, beings as well. There's now beautiful little beings that are coming with this rainbow body already active, and they do remember more. So this is what my question was, in relation to the rainbow body, because I love the way that you approach um, to that forgetting state, which is being like a white canvas, capable to write whatever you want because everything is possible. And now, in addition to that, when we see these seeds, these star seeds with their rainbow body already active, coming to expand this plasma wisdom, this technology, like we are doing, then that process of remembrance works differently, because then it comes another factor, which is the capability of being surprised. For instance, you see a child playing over and over and over again the same game, and it knows it by hand, like through by like at the palm of his or her hand. And every time is equally surprised. And I believe that ingredient is when we don't take anything for granted. Because even if we know that the next moment we cannot be that. Perhaps a timeline is shifting, we will be something else. So for that moment in time, we're experiencing the joy of the universe because we are truly appreciating it. We're not taking it for granted. And I believe and I feel that that is one of the most sacred gifts that we have. And it reminded me, of everything that we experienced in the trip, because I feel that that's something that as a humanity we have underestimated, which is the sacredness of the here and now.
Yeah.
Because we focus on all the infinite expectations that are driving us to focus somewhere else than here. And here, what we have with what we have right here, right now, we are being given the tools to create completion. And that's something beautiful that this that ourselves are restoring in us. So, and I want to thank you, because part of this and what I felt right now is due to the depth of the frequency that we are generating. So thank you so much for
Thank you. Thank you. Look who's talking. Come on.
that.
It's a beautiful co-creation. Um, I'm getting goosebumps all over. You can't fake this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. It's this all truth. When you are exposed to it, your body resonates. Beautifully said. It's an absolute joy and pleasure working with you. It's confirmation upon confirmation for myself. Oh my God, all this time I've spent, this is a wonderful master in every way, shape, and form of the definition that is also experiencing the same. We're both in human bodies, but we've come across the similar principles. This is so wonderful. It
Yeah.
gives meaning to one's life. And so hopefully we can also share this with our wonderful audience and the wonderful people that are going to join us for our course. It's the best of the best of this incarnation, I would say. Each going in the field. You go that side of the jungle. I'm going this side of the jungle. Let's see what we can bring together. And this is the salad that we have prepared for you.
Yeah.
It's all mix and match, and it looks a little wonky, but oh my God, it's delicious, and it'll be good for you. So,
Yes, yes. You will all definitely be getting the best nutrition from this co-creation. And yes, so before wrapping this show up, and for now, they are already asking for the third round. It's actually this, it would be the third one. This is the second one. And the chorus will be a numerous series of rounds.
I look
So,
forward. These are
yeah,
amazing. These are amazing, uh, and it's harmonious, right? It's harmonious. It's enjoyable. So yes, yes, yes. Let's do many, many more.
yes, yes. Okay, so where can people reach you?
I've got a website, wizardofwivenhoe.co.uk. You can find my YouTube. Hey, subscribe. And if you're watching on my channel, please subscribe to YssaH's channel. I'll put the information there. And yeah, keep being awesome, you wonderful, mighty humans. I love you very much. There's good stuff coming. Although the world seems crazy, that's just an illusion. The reality is that there's cheesecake on the way.
Galactic cheesecake on the
Galactic
way.
cheesecake.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I want to thank you all. You know where to reach me, YouTube channel, Isha Arsate Libyen. It's so funny. I'm pronouncing it in a different form, not the original one, because then it will be easier for you to to understand it due to the difference of the language, but not the frequency one. It's the same. We're tuned. And now also Facebook, website, everything in the description. I'm also sharing about the upcoming conference, the Rise of the Guardians. I hope to see you there. Join us. It will be a magnificent gathering. So much love and unity there unfolding there. I'm also excited to share with you new, novel tools, physical devices that I will be bringing to read your, to measure the frequency of your DNA and the cymatics that they create in relation to the source code, your geometrical body. What are the implications of this when you empower the cymatics of your DNA, which is very different for the Merkaba? It's very different for and unique for everyone. What happens when you fully ignite it, how you connect to source, to your plasma body, rainbow body, and so forth, to that process of remembrance. And yes, so yeah, if you want to get your tickets, you get the early bird price now, the early bird promo, and so you can access to the link that I share in this description. It's in May. Hope to see you there. And thank you so much, Dr. Amir. Looking so much for like looking truly forward for this co-creation.
Oh yes.
So everyone, stay tuned for that, and join me for tomorrow. If you feel like, I will be having a gathering, a show with Arcturus Ra, talking about the ancient future and the different ways of approaching to the quantum akasha, to that space memory network, and how to um, use it and apply it to the DNA. Yeah, I'm pretty high now on all of our talk. So
On cheesecake. See,
yeah,
that's
cheesecake.
what I'm saying. This goddamn cheesecake. I'm telling you.
Yeah, so yeah, that's beautiful. I just want to if you had been in our trip to Mexico, you will get why there is so much
So much.
cheesecake on the
Yeah.
field. And but yeah, you will get the jokes. I think you already have through the frequency. So yeah, tomorrow at a Space Memory Network in as Quantum Akasha, Ancient Future, and Conscious Technology, the quantum nexus of galactic codes interwoven in our DNA. So tomorrow with Arcturus Ra, we will be talking about that. He was also in the conference in Dallas and in Sedona, the last rise of the Guardians. So thank you so much, Dr. Amir, and thank you for your patience on
It's
this. This conference right
I'm enjoying every moment. It's an honor co-creating with you. It's a privilege to be in your presence and our wonderful audience.
now.
I love you guys. Yeah, just so we got another one. Yeah, cheesecake,
Yeah,
much
we have
latte. Love you
another
guys. Take care.
one. Yeah, cheesecake. Okay, so love you all. Thank you, and
Take
until
care.
next time.
Bye. Bye.